Welcome back to A Dummy Does Sourdough Start to Finish. Today we're looking at the bread portion of this project and I'll be using a stretch and fold method. You see here me prepping my starters. I prepped all three of them, but I'm only going to be using one, so enjoy. I set my starter aside to rise for about 4 hours, and here's a little time lapse of it rising as I go out and do a whole bunch of other stuff. Alright, so we've left this for around 3 hours and we're doing alright, but we gotta auto lease our dough, so I'm gonna get started on that. This one actually isn't doing the greatest compared to the other ones. See, this one's already up to here, all the way to the top. This one, yeah, it's just a bit higher. I mean, they could have had more ratios. This definitely has more bubbles in it. But we're going to use this one, so let's mix up our flour and water and get that sitting. So I just used 6 cups of all-purpose flour. You can mix and match with some whole wheat if you want, but I don't have anything else, so that's what I'm using. So I added about 3 1/4 cups of water to my flour and then mixed it in as well as I could before just letting it sit. Alright, Emmy. We're just going to let this sit for 45 minutes. Okay, well, there we go. There's our dough. Oh, this is going to be sticky. All right, let's add some salt and some starter. I'm just using some table salt. If you guys have good, proper salt, definitely probably would be better. All right, let's just sprinkle that on there. Put about 2 tablespoons-ish. And I'm going to fold this in here. Actually, it doesn't stick that much. Thought it'd be a lot worse, but we haven't had our starter yet, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we can see it's maybe if it focuses in there. Nice and bubbly on the top. We've gone way past our line. I mean, this narrows at the top though, so we're about double, I believe. All right, let's pour some of this in there. Cool. So I think I put in about a cup, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna fold this in there. Oh, that is. So I folded in my starter similarly to my salt, and kind of this is where things get a little out of hand as I then add the rest of my starter sort of after mixing it in, and kind of I'm not really sure I should have done that. So I'm just scooping underneath it, kind of just folding over top. I don't know if I'm doing this exactly right, but I guess we'll find out. All right, I think that's good and mixed. We're gonna let that sit for 30 minutes, and we'll continue to fold it. So I'm just gonna stick the rest of my starter. I have like 4 of them at this point. So I'm just gonna fold this in again, and then we're gonna wait the 30 minutes. I didn't know what to do with it, so just like another like third, quarter of a cup to a third. So let's quickly fold that in. Oh, I can smell the sourdough smell. It smells good. All right, let's let that sit for half an hour. So I've waited 30 minutes, and there we go. I'm gonna start doing some stretching and folding. So we'll do the first one. Okay, so I'm just gonna scoop it, pull it, tuck it over. Scoop it, pull it, tuck it over. The process here involves stretching and folding the dough over into itself 4 times, waiting 45 minutes in between each. This is sort of the part where I feel like I didn't do this very well, as I think I overstretched it and kind of ruined the tension that I was creating, causing a little bit more of a free-flowing dough ball by the end of it. I really don't know if I did this right or not. I think I need to do it a few more times to sort of understand it. But definitely think I could have done this a lot better, and I do think that this part does require some practice and some understanding of what you're doing in order to achieve the best results. I actually just cut some of the stretching and folding that I did in between each of the parts, the 4 parts here, because I feel like if I sped it up too much, it was going to get way too fast to see. I did around double the stretching and folding that I'm actually showing here, which is why I think I overdid it. All right, we're gonna let that bulk rise, and we're going to, yeah, for I don't know, however long it takes, 2 to 6 hours. It's 4:42, so hopefully we're not baking bread at 11, 12, but we'll see how it goes. So let's just let this bulk rise. I sprinkled some flour onto the counter and then gently sliced my dough in half, being really careful with it not to distort it too much. And then fold it over on itself in a sort of a crisscross motion, and then rolled it up into a nice sort of balled shape. And then sort of let that sit and rest for 20 minutes while I prep the bowls that I was going to put it in for it to proof. Okay, so we neatly shaped those, and we're going to just let them rest for 20 minutes while we prepare the bowls they're going to be in. To prep my bowls, I laid a clean tea towel over them and then sifted some flour over top. Once they had a good coating of flour, I set them aside and then layered some sesame seeds and some poppy seeds on a plate. To do the final shaping, I sort of stretched the doughs out again. I did a crisscross fold again, so the 1, 2 fold, 1, 2 fold, and then rolled it up again, and then began to sort of push it forward and sort of create a tension around the surface in this sort of rocking motion against the counter, using the counter sort of to grip it and to tighten the surface around it. I'm not exactly sure I did this properly, but I do think that out of all the steps, this one I was as most true to what I was trying to achieve. All right, so it's been an hour and a half. The dough's proofing away, and I'm gonna preheat the oven to 500 for an hour with this stone in it. It's gonna get hot in here. Oof.
Alright, so we preheated the oven for an hour, and I'm going to wrap this in tin foil, and we're going to put some ice cubes under it, put it underneath the hot oven plate. So I'll just do that. Alright, so we're going to be cooking these breads one at a time. So we're going to try this one.
I dusted off my bread and then placed it on a cutting board so that I could easily slide it into the oven. I also put some ice cubes aside so that I could put them on the tinfoil tray I put below the pizza stone right before I scored my bread and put it into the oven.
I'm going to give this a score. Supposed to have a sharp knife, but I just got a knife, so there we go. And onto the stone we go, into the oven, and shut the door. Alright, so we're going to cook it at 500 for 20 minutes. And then we're going to turn it down to 450 for another 20 minutes, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, that's 20 minutes. So we're going to put it on for another 20 minutes. Change your temperature down to 450. And I'm just going to take a look. Oh, that looks good. It's like a ball. Alright, just let that keep baking. So I just took the other one out and threw the next one back in, 500 degrees ice. Here's a bit of a display. Here we got here. It's definitely a little bit wonky, and you can kind of see with that tray underneath, the bottom side is a lot lighter. So yeah, we'll probably dig into those tomorrow morning. It's midnight and I'm ready for bed, so let's do this. Okay. Alright, so this one did not rise the same as the other ones. It looks good on the bottom, but yeah, it's kind of flat, so it's probably because I didn't let the oven heat up. Well, I made a couple of loaves of bread, and we're gonna let these sit overnight, and I'm gonna cut into them tomorrow morning. So yeah, hopefully they're, well, I'm gonna cut into one of them. Hopefully they're good. Alright, so it's the morning. Let's just jump right into it. Cut one of these open. Well, that's really soft in there. It's like I can feel the moisture from inside. That's how moist the dough was. You got some good air pockets. There we go. A lot of rise in the top. Just a little bit of butter. Always. There you go, Emily. Alright. Let's just close up right now. I know how this is going to go. I don't think I made my best bread with this. What I do know, though, is that the starter works. The method is probably where I faltered, definitely. I don't think I followed the directions properly. My fold technique was not very good, and I don't know if I shaped them very well. Probably didn't have the right containers for this kind of bread. You want long ones, so it's not just spooling all over the place like a puddle. But at the end of the day, it is bread and it tastes alright. So, you could make bread with it, but I think unless you follow the the directions properly, you might end up with something that's looks like this. I don't feel like it's that foolproof. I think I'm going to stick to my higher flour content, so it's a bit firmer, so I shape it a bit better. It's really hard to shape this. Or I might just practice at it and see if I can get it well, but I don't know. I don't know if I really care about, you know, how the whole insides turned out, so yeah, that's what I think. But starter works. Alright, I'm going to say a few more words because
Abby, come here.
one other thing with this method was, oh wow, did I make a giant mess with the flour. It was everywhere. I think that alone is enough of a deterrent that I don't really want to do this again. But I think I like to knead all of my flour into my dough and then just use oil. That's so much cleaner. I mean, I don't have anywhere near the air pockets in this piece of bread, but I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't know. It's very nice air pockets. I wonder if that just has to do with the way I let it ride. So I don't know. I'll keep experimenting and see what we came up with. I had a very similar result with one of the hot oven baking bread that I made. It's not quite as sort of stringy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just takes practice and something that a dummy can't do.
Thank you so much for watching this insanely long and insanely hard to edit video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, I am going to plug this one. Please add a comment of anything that you'd like to see in the next upcoming videos, or just your thoughts and opinions on this matter. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.